Welcome to IH Talks. I'm Lucy Cottrell from IH Radio Calabria, and today we're talking about how to build trust in our teams with Betti Sewell. The general subject of this talk is the role of the DoS.
Hi Lucy, I'm the DoS of IH Riga. Lovely to be here, lovely to see you today.
Lovely to have you here, Betti. So tell me, why do you think we should be talking about the topic of trust and building trust in our teams?
Well, I remember many years ago when I was reading something about management that said the thing that people really want in their manager is just somebody who's warm and competent. Obviously, there's so much information and training and guidance on how to be a competent DoS, but I think maybe being a warm DoS is maybe a bit more challenging, and this is what I want to talk about. To me, being a warm DoS or warm manager, it's not about personality, really. It's about like conscious decisions and conscious actions that help to build this trust, to build rapport, and to make people feel comfortable and trusting in me and in their DoS. So yeah, I've got some tips and some things that I try to do to be a warm
manager. Well, Betti, we'd love to hear these tips. So what advice can you give us?
I think the first thing is connected to delegation. So everybody knows that delegation is important. We want our team to thrive and to develop their expertise. But one really key thing is don't be threatened by somebody whose expertise or whose skills are better or higher or getting more recognition than your own. It's, don't let your ego get in the way. And similarly, acknowledge this expertise, acknowledge this contribution. Don't take credit for somebody else's work, somebody else's ideas, suggestions. If you're inspired by something or someone, thank them and give them this credit. It's really important, I think. Secondly, admit your mistakes. Admit your mistakes and don't blame others for their mistakes. We all make mistakes, and think of it as a learning opportunity. Not always, but often mistakes are caused by failures in communication in some way. Look at the root cause, look at how you can improve the situation for the future and maybe avoid some mistakes. The next thing, if something seems kind of annoying or awful or incomprehensible decision, then maybe just don't react with your emotion. Like, take a step back, don't make a snap judgment or a snap comment. It's probably not as bad as it seems. So yeah, take a step back, revisit the thing with fresh eyes, and the chances are you'll see it differently and probably see it in a much more positive light. The next kind of tip that I think is important is make sure people can actually trust your words. So if somebody asks something but you don't know, don't pretend, because this is infuriating when this happens. Admit that you don't know, go away, find out, and then obviously report back and follow up with whatever the question is. Also, if you don't know, or if you're making a decision, then consult people, ask for advice, ask for suggestions, ask for other opinions. Don't presume that you know the best. You can't please everybody, of course. It's part of life. But one way of helping build this trust is maybe to consult everybody, act, don't ignore what they say, and maybe explain the rationale to them as well. Like, explain how you reach this decision. People will feel better about it. We all know, I think, that what another way of building trust in professional relationships and sort of personal ones too is not to gaslight people. So don't pretend that something is great and without any problems if there are obviously sort of problems. Of course, emphasize the positive, but don't kind of hide or obscure the obvious negative effects. If something is really time consuming, admit it and say, okay, it's worth it, but it'll take some time. I think a kind of final point, sort of all-encompassing point, is really to be human. We have to kind of course, respect professional boundaries. Don't overshare, don't expect people to share all their secrets, but admit the pleasures and pains of the job or of life. So, it's fine to admit or sort of talk about the rubbish lesson that you taught last week, or the fact that you also can't wait for the summer break. It's good to be human.
Definitely. So if I can summarize, I think you're saying that we can increase trust in our teams by ourselves being more open, transparent, reducing our ego, our assumptions, and really sort of consulting our team and understanding they may have better ideas and knowledge than us. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're the leader, but we're not the only person who knows what they're doing. Like it's good to embrace everybody and yeah, remove the ego and allow everybody to shine, I guess, and be an honest person.
Thanks so much, Betti. That was loads of really useful advice. So yeah, thank you very much for your time. This brings to an end our IH talk for today.
Thank you, Lucy.